but I get all the hard time. Why am I getting that? You're the one, quote, platforming Candace Owens.
The conservative movement has a problem. It's called Little Napoleon Syndrome. For months, we have watched a coordinated smear campaign designed to destroy Candace Owens. The crime? She dared to ask questions that weren't on the approved script. And the ringleader of this circus is the Lollipop Guild's very own Ben Shapiro, a man who demands absolute loyalty to his worldview, or he will try to end your career. But they made a mistake. They tried to pressure Megyn Kelly. Today we are watching Megyn look Piers Morgan in the eye and tell the entire gatekeeper industrial complex to go to hell. She exposes the hypocrisy, the bullying, and the sheer desperation of the establishment to make her bend the knee. Let's watch the destruction.
You've been very supportive of her, not critical, even though she, I would argue, and I have to her face when I've had her on the show, I get on well with Candace, but some of the stuff she's been doing in relation to Erica Kirk, Brigitte Macron, and others, I do think is really regrettable, kind of conspiracy theory nonsense just for clicks and money. Why would you hesitate before criticizing her over stuff like that?
I've criticized Candace many times over the years. We've had many public fights over the years. But isn't it interesting that you will, quote, platform Candace? She hasn't been on my show in several years, but I get all the hard time. Why am I getting that? You're the one, quote, platforming Candace Owens. She and I don't have that kind of relationship. Candace took a bunch of crap because she was very anti-Israel in the Gaza war. And it became a thing where you had to say she was terrible in her positioning. And then after Charlie died, she started questioning whether Israel had any role in it. And that's when they really tried to amp up the pressure on me to condemn her. And I refused because Charlie was starting to have serious questions about Israel. Not just its role in the Gaza war, but its influence on American politicians, something he and I spent hours and hours discussing. So I had no problem with Candace Owens asking those questions. And I refused to condemn her because I was under pressure from these people who wanted me to. And then that morphed into then everything Candace said thereafter, with which I may or may not have had serious problems, that I had to, where's the condemnation? And it was all really about the Israel thing. And I'd rather die than bend the knee to these people. I'd rather die than bend the knee. It won't happen. I didn't raise my fist and say BLM, and I'm not going to condemn the people they want me to condemn just so that I can get a little pat on their head, on my head from them. It's not important to me. What's important to me is I live free. And that, frankly, is what it means to be an American.
I'd rather die than bend the knee. Put that on a t-shirt and sell it. Let's break down exactly what Megyn just exposed here. She highlights the massive hypocrisy regarding Charlie Kirk. Charlie questioned Israel. Charlie changed his mind. Did the Daily Wire army demand Charlie be fired? Did they call him an anti-Semite? No. Why? Because Charlie is part of the club. Candace is not. Megyn identifies the game perfectly. This isn't about anti-Semitism or conspiracy theories. If it was, half the conservative media would be out of a job. This is about submission. The tiny tyrant of the conservative movement wants a pat on the head. He wants Megyn Kelly to perform a public ritual of humiliation, to denounce her friend just to prove she's a good conservative. It is a power play by a man who is physically and intellectually insecure. He needs to know he owns you. And Megyn Kelly just told him, I live free. They tried to use peer pressure on a woman who stared down Donald Trump in 2016. It's pathetic. The smear campaign against Candace failed because the audience sees the strings. We see the gatekeepers panicking because they can no longer control the narrative. Megyn Kelly isn't defending every word Candace says. She is defending her right to exist without permission from a 5'0" podcaster in Florida. So here is the reality. The conservative Inc. gatekeepers are losing their grip. They thought they could bully Megyn Kelly into submission, and instead they just got exposed as the petty tyrants they are. Ben Shapiro wants employees. Megyn Kelly wants to be an American. Drop a comment below. Do you stand with Megyn's live free attitude, or do you think she should have bowed down to the establishment? Stay skeptical, stay loud, and never bend a knee.